So in our previous lecture, we already started topic 5, which is about global marketplace. And in this global marketplace, in last lecture, if you look at your notes, we studied about what is global firm. Right? So global firms have many features, like it's operate in more than one country, and taking advantage of the various things like as marketing, R&Ds, financial resources, or labor workforce, various kinds of benefits we can get it through this global marketing or global marketplace. And the another thing is there is a difference between global firms and the local firms. So global firms normally look at the global market as a one market, as a single market, all right? But of course, local firms, they do not look at global market as a single market, because they don't have access to the various countries. The various countries gonna be different markets for the domestic firms. So that's the features that we looked at the global firms. And then we also looked at the restrictions that we're gonna continue today. So in this restriction, we studied about various things. First, we study about tariff, all right? So what tariff really means when you're gonna import anything from the foreign country. So let me write down tariff. Tariff we already covered in the last class. Tariff is like as import tax, import taxes. Right. And we also studied about, I don't remember, we finished quotas. Did we finish that? Quotas. Did we finish this one? Say something.
Yes, I have seen one. Quotas.
Finish, right?
Yeah.
So I repeat.
Global. Yeah.
I repeat, because quotas is basically you buy a certain amounts of product from the foreign country. You do not have access to buy unlimited product of that or unlimited product from that country, because if you are importing unlimited product from that country, so that's unlimited imports may affect the local employments, local market, or local job opportunities. So that's the reason we are not allowed to import unlimited amount of product, all right? So just import a certain quotas. Quota means certain level. If that level is finished, you are not allowed to buy more, right? So import certain amounts. Certain amounts of product. So that's called the quotas. And now move on to the next one, which is the exchange control. Exchange control. When we talk about exchange control, the meaning of exchange here is foreign exchange, right? Foreign exchange. We call it forex. Foreign exchange, right? So forex. Right? So foreign exchange control. Now, what does it mean, foreign exchange? Foreign exchange means foreign currency. When you buy anything or when you sell anything to foreign country, then of course you have to deal in a foreign currency. You have to trade in a foreign currency. So this is called the foreign exchange. You have to convert your local currency in a foreign currency. For example, if you are importing any product from US, then you have to convert Vietnam dong into USD. Same thing gonna happen if Americans, they're gonna export anything to Vietnam, they have to convert USD to Vietnam dong. So that's the thing. This is called the foreign exchange control. Now, sometimes some countries, they have some kinds of agreements. So agreements means if you are, let's say, for example, agreements between Vietnam dong and Singapore dollar or Sing dollar. So if they have such kinds of agreements, under that agreements, Singapore dollar will not fluctuate, will not change. Normally foreign currency change, right? But under this exchange control, one country gonna control its foreign currency. So that country may not fluctuate, may not change its foreign currency. But as I said, generally in international market, foreign currency change, all right? Foreign currency fluctuate. Fluctuation means up and down. So that's why if foreign currency up and down, so maybe it can give you gain or it can give you loss, or it depends. For example, let's say you are buying anything from Singapore. If Singapore dollar increase, then you will lose because you have to pay more. If you are buying anything from Singapore and Sing dollar reduce, then you're gonna have an advantage. So that's called the gain, right? So in order to avoid such kinds of gain and loss situations or such kinds of risk, some countries, they restrict their exchange rates. So means they control their exchange rate. They're gonna make it, they're not gonna make any fluctuation in the exchange rate when they're gonna buy or sell anything from foreign country. So this is called the exchange control, right? So exchange control, I write here again. It's basically limits it limits the amount of foreign currency, the amount of foreign currency or foreign exchange, forex, foreign exchange, or they're gonna limit the amounts of foreign exchange against the other currency. So they're not gonna make it fluctuation, right? So that's kind of things maybe happen. So maybe that kind of fluctuation may give you benefits, may not give you benefits. It depends, right? So that situations, we also face it when we trade at international level, right? Next and the last restriction, I guess is the last one. Yes, it's a last restriction. Another restriction is a non-tariff barriers. Now, what is non-tariff barriers? Under non-tariff barriers, one specific country, they create a bias for foreign product if that foreign product do not maintain the quality of the product or do not follow the import regulations of that country or the product regulation of that country, right? So we call it bias or biases against restrictive product standard. Okay, restrictive product standard. Okay, now what does it mean? It means you're gonna create a bias. In other words, you can say that you're not gonna allow the foreign seller to sell any kinds of product which is restrictive. I mean, product standard means any kinds of product who do not meet the product standard requirement of that country, you will restrict that product. This is called non-tariff barriers. Right? The best example is a low quality product. For example, maybe some Chinese companies, they may sell low quality product in foreign countries. Maybe it could be India or it could be Vietnam or like all these Southeast Asian countries where where less restriction over such kinds of, where there is no any non-tariff barriers, or especially in these countries. So as long as product is able to use it, they just buy it. They do not really measure the quality of the product. All right. So in this such kinds of situation, if any kinds of company or foreign country, they're selling low quality product, some specific country, they ban that product, right? So that's called the non-tariff barrier. In simple language, low quality product will not be acceptable in any country. So yeah, as I said, it depends upon countries to countries, all right? For some country, there's no any problems with low quality products. So that's why, like as in Vietnam, we can see many low quality products, which is made in China. And not only made in China, maybe some other countries, but majority of the product in a market, low quality is made in China. And this is the example of the non-tariff barriers. All right, so you may not able to find such kinds of low quality product in other countries where regulations are very strict over the quality of the product, which is like the best example is America. So they're quite strict about the regulations. So you may not able to find those kinds of low quality product in a market. Right? So this is the ideas for restriction on the trade. So when you are entering in a global market, so such kinds of situations you have to face it. All right. So let's move on to, we have some other international collaborations, but I may not go that kind of collaboration in very detail, but I skip that collaborations. All right, it's like a foreign trade agreements or ASEAN, which is the Southeast Asian countries. They have a various contract, such kind of agreements to sell product in another countries without paying any kinds of taxes, no barriers, no tariff, and all this kind of things. So I may not go in very detail because these things are quite obvious. So let's move on to the next one, which is the environments. So now we're gonna have a look that global market has a various kinds of environments, right? And then of course, these kinds of environments give impacts over the countries. So let's move on to the next, which is economic environment. So as I said, we're gonna look at the global marketing environments. So in the global marketing, so let me write down global marketing environments. So global marketing environments. So we start with the economic environment. Right. Economic environments basically affect, or you can say that these economic environments basically association of two different kinds of factors, right? So these economic environments, or we can say that these economic environments give majorly impacts on two different kinds of things, right? In other words, so, but you can say that these two factors are part of this economic environments. Right? So the first is an industrial structure. Industrial structure is a part of economic environment. It comes under economic environments. So this industrial structure affects the country's economy. So that's what you can understand it. Second thing is income distribution. Income distribution. So means whatever, how does government distributes the income that government is generating in form of tax? How government allocate those kinds of income among the people, right? So what services government gonna provide it, or government think that this is the tax we are generating, we should invest in this sector, or that sector. It depends. So it's important. So that kind of income distribution affects the country economic structure or economic environment. So let's start with the economic environments. under industrial structure. So industrial structure. So various factors that affects industrial structure. So the first thing is raw material. Raw material exporting economy. If any kinds of economy which is raw material exporting, that affecting the country's industrial structure. Because if your country's government emphasize on exporting raw material, so you have a really very developed manufacturing sectors. So your manufacturing sectors is quite growing sector if government is emphasizing on exporting the raw material to the, exporting means raw material means you're sending raw material to the foreign countries, or the foreign countries companies, they are buying raw material from you. So you have to generate the raw material, you have to make or produce raw material. Right? So raw material could be anything. For example, raw material for let's say laptop, plastics, or any other kinds of semiconductors. We require raw material required to make it semiconductor. So if your country is exporting that kind of raw material to the country which are producing laptops or electronic gadgets, so your country government will emphasize on producing that kind of plastics or semiconductor material. Another examples could be clothes, the raw material required for the clothes, fabrics, right? So if let's say China, they require a fabric raw material, right? So if let's say China is buying fabric raw material from Vietnam, so Vietnamese government emphasizing to develop the industry which can produce raw material for the for the fabrics, right? So as a result, Vietnamese industrial structure will be better, will be developed, will be improved. And another thing, another is industrial economies. Industrial economies. All right. Industrial economies, it's in very simple language, establish various kinds of industries in a country's in country particular locations. If you are developing many industries, we're going to be less reliable on the foreign products import, right? So as a result, country GDP will be positively affected. So, and these kinds of industrial economy, as a result, is going to give a positive impacts on the industrial structure, because the industrial economy will improve, right? Industrial structure will improve, and economic sector or economic environments will be developed of that country. So these two factors play a very important role developing countries' industrial structure. Let's move on to the income distribution. Right? Income distribution, again, as I said, how government distribute that's kind of income on the people, right? In order to understand how government distributes, we need to know how government generate income, right? In order to understand how government generate income, we have to look at the income level. We have to look at the income level. So income level divided into three different levels. Right. Divided into three different levels. One is LIG, second one is MIG, and third one is a HIG. So we have three different levels. LIG stands for lower income group, all right, or lower income level, whatever you want to call it. So lower income group, middle income group, and higher income group. So lower income group, the people who getting a lower income. So as a result, they're gonna get a more benefits compared to the medium income and the higher income. So they will get a more benefits from the government, right? More economic benefits, whatever, tax rebates or such kinds of some kind of special exemptions in specific things, prices reductions. If government is giving you some specific number or the IDs, if your income is that level, so you can get some kinds of exemptions. I'm not sure about in Vietnam, but in India, if your income comes under a lower income group category, so you have a particular benefits, like as you have benefits in the hospitals, you don't have to pay the high doctor fees or hospitals medical expenses. Same thing in educations. If the parents or the guardians, they have a lower income, they comes in the lower income categories, so they're gonna have such kinds of fees exemptions or the low fees, all right? Or yes, so such kinds of benefits they're gonna get it, and of course these benefits are provided by the governments, right? So as I said, depends upon the level. And same thing with the middle income group people. So middle income group people, they're gonna have average benefits that people gonna get it, right? And high income group level people, they are less likely to take the benefits from the government, since they can afford all the services and things, and maybe they're more likely to pay for the high prices things, so they may not require a specific service from the government. But of course some basic services are for everybody. So let's say government is spending money on building a park, right? So everybody can go to the park, no matter lower income, medium income, or high income. Same thing, the roads, government is building the roads. That's different story, that you have to pay tax for it. But of course government is building roads, and of course lower income, middle income, and higher income can take the benefits of that road. Same thing with the hospitals. Government building government hospitals, anybody can go to the government hospitals, but in the government hospital we have a VIP treatment as well. So if you can afford VIP treatment, so you can pay high money. If you do not afford the VIP treatments, like maybe middle income group or lower income group, so they can take the normal benefits that government is giving under government hospitals, right? But of course higher income group or the middle income group people, they're not gonna get some kinds of benefits that may lower income group people can get. As I said, that lower income group people, they have some kinds of identity. In some countries they have some kind of ID card. So then they go to the government stores, only the government stores, to buy some grocery items, could be basic like rice, oils, or meat maybe. So if you go to the government stores to buy the groceries, you have to show your IDs, which have a specific number, and then the sellers can give you discounts on the grocery items. So that's the benefit lower income group people can get it from the governments. All right. So that's, of course, that also affect the economic environment. So every country's government, they emphasize on giving more and more benefits to the lower income group people, since they have a very less source of income. However, medium and higher income group people, they compared to the medium income, higher income group people, less likely to take advantage from the government services, right? Whatever government benefits giving to the people. So these are the two different factors that affect the country's economic environments. Right? So that's all about economic environments. Right? So before we move on to another one, anybody has any question? Any question? Yes or no? Or move on?
Move on, teacher.
Okay. So let's move on to the next, which is a political and legal environments. So same thing, we're going to study economics, political, social, cultural, and so on. So next is a political and a legal environment. So now next is a political and legal environment. Political and legal environment. So, so first thing, in a political and legal environment, we will have a look about the first point that's affect the political environments of any country is country attitudes towards international product. Country attitude towards international product. International buying or international product. Let's take example. Okay, I ask you a question. For example, if you want to buy Apple product, right? And you go to the shop to buy Apple, maybe iPad, and then you're gonna check all the specifications of that product, price and all that. And another important thing, you're gonna see that where this product is manufactured, because you worry about the quality, or is it fake or is it real, because most of people, they worry when they are buying Apple product from non-Apple store. If you're buying Apple product from Apple store, that's fine, but sometimes you buy Apple products for some other famous stores, like as a Winfart or Huafart, some kinds of selling stores, electronics, gadgets, right? So so now you ask for that product, where this product manufactured, and the seller show you two products. One product made in China, both are Apple, right? One product made in China, one product made in Thailand, for example. So which product you will choose, or it doesn't really affect if you are buying from non-Apple store, right? Like Winfart or some other, or FPT shops, right? So which product do you prefer? Made in China or made in Thailand or made in Taiwan? Tell me. Product.
I prefer product made in Thailand or Taiwan more than made in China.
That's the meaning of attitudes towards the buying international product. In fact, there is no any difference between the quality of made in China or made in Taiwan or made in Thailand. There is no any difference. Why? Because Apple company, they maintain the quality standard at international level. So no matter you are buying in America, you are buying outside America, so the quality of the product may not be affected. You're gonna get the same quality, same features, same function, same application, same design, everything is same. No different. Of course, price may be different because in America, they don't have to bear kind of transportations and supply chains and things. Yes, so this is called the mindset. People have a mindset. So in Vietnam, people, there is a mindset that made in China products are always low quality products. So they are more worried about made in China, even though product is a famous company, right? Famous brand, good quality. But again, people have that kind of mindset. So this is called the country attitudes towards the international buying. So if you have a positive or negative attitudes, so that may affect the import or the product from that countries, right? Let's take example of America. So people have that mindset that compared to China, if any product is made in China, another product is made in America, people will prefer made in America in Vietnam. Again, same attitudes they have towards the American product. So which is the positive attitudes or mindset they have towards the international product. So that's really affect the country legal system or political system, right? Some specific restriction on of the product if you're buying from specific country, but on the other hand, from the other countries you may not have that kind of restrictions. All right, so next is a government bureaucracy. You know bureaucracy? Bureaucracy, do you know that? Bureaucracy?
Yes.
Okay, it's opposite of democracy. So one party, one government doesn't change. So again, the government bureaucracy, they also affect the political environments of that country, because like, again, you have to be, if you are involved in any kinds of buying and selling product, you have to go through with the government procedures, and government more likely to control more things in that particular country. Again, Vietnam also have a government bureaucracy, but Vietnam market is a little bit flat, I would say that open, right? Compared to these some other government bureaucracy countries could be like, let's say China. That's market and businesses are highly controlled by the government. Another examples could be North Korea. Last time I was watching one kind of documentary of the North Korea is that if you go to North Korea and if you go to the supermarket in North Korea, and of course the North Korean government officials, they're gonna follow you. When you go to the supermarket, you will find over there no dollars. So they use the euro instead of dollars. So you have to bring euro with you if you wanna. Of course, they have foreign exchange over there as well. But again, you have to, if you want to purchase anything, you have to use either a local currency. But I think foreigners, they cannot spend local currency in a supermarket because this is the way that they make money from the foreigners. So the most of the items are in euro and extremely expensive. All right, so that may not be really friendly for the visitors. So that may not like it. Okay, so next thing, political environments affect the government stability. Government stabilities, again, it's for those government stabilities affect the country's economy in the various aspects. Government stability. How stable government it is. Of course, that government stability may not implement for the country where there is no any democracy, because of course, government is more stable. But one positive point for government stability is that it's really impacts on the country's economic system. Let's take example. So I want to take example of, I hope you know the countries is the Enron company from US. Enron, it's a they mainly power supplies companies. So they supply power, so they build some kinds of big power plants, right? So the example is in India, there is a one state, famous state is a Maharashtra, and the capital of that state is a Mumbai. So a government has a contract, Indian government, they have a contract with these Enron companies to build a power plants in that state. And when government signed the contract with that Enron companies, at that time they have a different government. And as you know that India also have a democracy. So after a few years, when government period is finished, when government re-elected, so the previous government, they lose the elections and their new government comes into the ruling party. And when the new government they comes in a ruling party, that new government cancel the contract of that state with this enron company. As a result, so this company has a huge, they have a loss because they already started some kinds of work, and then new government came into ruling, and then they stop the various contract they have with the foreign partners, because they worry about the corruptions and things. Maybe they have some kinds of corruption issues with the foreign investors, so they may involve to stop. They did not stop all kinds of project, but they stopped this Enron project, because this Enron company is a very big company, and that's things affect the company profitabilities, or company revenue, or company income. So again, government stability play very important role in country growth. If government is not stable, there is a big problem for countries to grow consistently, because if the government is not consistent, how can we implement a new policy? Because if the old government bring new policies, and when the government change, policy change, and policy change, a new policy, and it takes time to implement the policies. But before implementation, another government comes, so not enough time for implementation. So that's the problems normally we face it when the government is not stable, right? And the last thing is a monetary regulation. Monetary regulations. Monetary regulation here is more about your economics, is about the supply of money. So monetary regulation means how often government should open supply the currency, supply the money in a market, because you know that if supply of money increase in a market, as a result, value of currency will reduce, or inflation will increase it. All right. So monetary regulation also play a very important role to maintain the country's economy, because if any country has an inflation, no any other foreign company willing to invest money in that country, right? So that's things maybe affect the country's system at international level. So we have to be kind of strict towards the monetary regulation. So that's the reason government more likely to control that kind of supply of money in a country's economy. Of course, central banks or state banks involved in making some regulations. So we will call it monetary policies. So policies towards the interest rates, policy towards the supply of money in a country. So you may study this topic later in your economics class, right? But again, this monetary regulation is a part of the country legal system, and which directly affect the foreign investment, right? So again, global market affected. Okay. Next is about another point about political and legal environments is the terms that you must know. The term called the counter trade. Counter trade. Counter trade. Counter trade means non-cash payments. Not literally, but kind of. Non-cash payments. Right. Now, counter trade means, okay, when you buy anything from foreign country, you don't have to make up payments. Literally, you don't have to give money. So you are buying one product and you're giving another in exchange of that value of product, you're giving another product. This is called the counter trade. All right. This is not a normal trade. So counter trade is different than the business trade. So business trade, you provide service, you provide product, and you get the money. All right. But under counter trade, you supply product in exchange, the value of that product, you supply another product equals to the value. So counter trade has a different types of payment system they have. Right? So the first payment system is a barter system. Barter system it's very old system. It's very traditional system. So what happened in a barter system? In exchange of product, you give product. In exchange of service, maybe you give product. So means you use product and service to exchange, to buy product or to buy service. So let's say buying coffee, buying beans. So if I'm buying coffee from you, then I will give you beans and you give me coffee. Or use beans for rice. I have a beans, you have a rice, so I give you beans and you give me rice. So this is kind of a service called the barter system. Let's say another example. I'm a teacher. I give you educations, and then you may give me food. You give me rice, you give me beans, right? Or any other commodities, right? So this is called the barter system, right? So barter system means exchange of goods and services. No money, no currencies. All right, so we're not going to use any currency. But that's the problem with the barter system, because sometimes the price of that particular items is quite unfair. Next is a compensation or buyback. Compensation or buyback. For example, I want to buy product from you, all right? In exchange of that product, I will give you my assets, right? Exchange of assets to buy product and services. For example, I'm gonna buy product from you, and I will give you the machines, the equipment, the land, the building, right? So this is called the compensation or the buyback, right? So payment in resulting product or service by the use of plant, machine. So it's kind of asset. So let's take example of the plant and machine. So in a use of plant and machine, we make a payments for product and service. So that's called the compensation or the buyback. And the next is a counter purchase. So counter purchase is quite interesting, right? For example, counter purchase means I will buy your product, but you have to invest in my country. That's called the counter purchase. So when you're gonna buy anything from someone else, you're gonna make conditions on buying, right? So you can say that make condition on buying product or service. Right? So make condition, as I give example, I will take a contract from you. You will make product for me, but again, you have to make an investment, particular investment in my country or another kinds of countries that's may ruled by my government, right? So That's called the counter purchase. So again, it's kind of give and take. You give me benefits, I'll give you benefits. I will help you to make money. So you give me product, I give you money. But again, you not just simply have to sell money to me. You have to invest money in another sector or same sector in my country as well. So my country people, they can have a employment. So as a result, my country economy may be improved. Right? So people level will be improved. So you can invest in education system, manufacturing, service sectors, any kinds of sectors, but you have to invest it. So that if you make any kinds of agreements or kinds of conditions on buying services and product from the different countries, that's called the counter purchase. All right. So it's kind of agreements on acquiring product and service. So these are the three different types of counter trade, which comes under the political and the legal environment. So let's move on to the next. If you have any questions, so you can ask me. Next environments is cultural environments. Cultural environment. That's we already studied when we talk about the marketing environment at national level. So that's quite similar, right? So cultural environments, again, impact of, so cultural environments indicates the impact of culture on marketing strategies. On marketing strategy. All right. So this is the cultural environment. So which kinds of factors may affect, like as maybe business norms, how business are conducted in that country. So instead of business norms, so let's talk about the behaviors and the values. Their behaviors, traditions, and maybe preferences. What they prefer, what is their tradition, why they behave, how they behave. So that's kind of things affect the marketing strategies. The various examples we have discussed before, like as for example, in Korea, as we discussed before, some kinds of skin beauty skins or some kinds of surgeries and spa things are much more popular, right, compared to the otherness. And same thing is happening nowadays in Vietnam. So various Korean companies, they are doing a marketing in a such way, so which which attract the consumer. So they may apply the same strategies in China, where white skin could be example of the society symbol or status symbol. So they do marketing in a such way to attract the consumers. So again, it depends how companies they involve in marketing strategies. It merely depends upon the culture. Different cultures have a different kinds of marketing strategies. They apply it following their trend in a market. Whatever is trend in a market, they do that. So these kind of things affect the cultural environments. Okay, in cultural environments, the most important thing is keep in your mind that if you are doing marketing at international level. Under these kinds of cultural environments, international companies, they must adopt the culture. If they want to do marketing, they must adopt the culture of that country instead of imposing their own values, right? If any country belongs to the America, right? So maybe the American culture is different than the Vietnam culture. So if any American company, they're gonna do marketing or gonna do business in Vietnam, so that American company must do marketing as per the behavior of Vietnamese tradition and preferences instead of imposing the American culture values in Vietnam. Because again, both countries have a different culture values, different social norms, right? Or maybe business norms. So they must not impose their own values in international market. They must flow um, in their own culture. Otherwise, people, they may not like it because they say, "Oh, that's not our culture. We generally we don't do that." So they may not be they may not be admired by your product. As the results, they may not like your companies or your product. So that will give a negative impacts on the people. So that's why it's very important to know the culture and behavior before entering in an international market. So we have to study the culture of that country, and then once we recognize the culture, once we recognize the people values and people preferences, and then as per values and preferences, we introduce our product in that particular market. So these are the things that's important. Next is now. Until now, we already understand various factors affect the country's economy. Now we're going to move on to the next point, which is the we're going to decide which market we should enter. All right. Yes. So how can we decide which market we should enter? So again, various factors will need to analyze before making a decision for the particular market. So deciding which market to enter. So various factors affect the markets. I mean, which market to enter, such as market size. Market size. If market size is large, again, we have opportunity to enter in a market, or depends. Is it highly competitive market? Again, same thing, more about the economics, perfectly competitive, monopolistic, monopoly, or oligopoly. So it depends upon the market. Of course, if there is a monopoly of one specific industry in that market, so you think that you can join that market because that may be your strength in your home country, but you want to enter in international markets. So you think that that's a great opportunity, then we will enter. So again, market size, market type, you can say that, market size or market type. What kind of market? So 4 types that we studied before. Second is a market growth. Market growth. Is it really great opportunity for market growth? Let's take example. I remember 6-7 years back, there was I guess there was just one company about bus service, which is Phuong Trang, or FUTA, Phuta or Phuong Trang in Vietnam. And at that time, Phuong Trang was on the peak, providing, until now, still Phuong Trang has a great market share in Vietnam, providing bus services, private bus services. But after that, if you see year by year, various companies enter in that bus services. Like last time I was watching one bus services that's providing the same services was a Comho Asia or something like that. I don't remember the name. But now, if you see nowadays in the market, whenever you book any tickets for your hometown, previously we used to have only Fung Track. Very other companies hard to find it. They have a such kind of monopoly in that market. But now, if you see that, so the competition is increasing slowly, but I think not really perfect competition, but I think it's a monopolistic competition. All right. uh, because different bus services, different bus companies, they are providing different services, maybe monopolistic competitions or maybe oligopoly, right? So oligopolies could be possible because there is a few firms who are providing that bus services, maybe like as I said, Comho Asia or Fung Trang, or probably you know better than me. But the idea is that depends. If you think there is a growth in that particular markets, you enter in that markets to um, to 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 make product, I mean to make money. Another example is like such kinds of grab service. Before we have Uber, right? And then after Uber, uh, then Uber acquired by Grab or by someone else, and then Grab Bike, and then now maybe I don't know, for example, Vatu or some other kinds of local companies, they are providing services in these kinds of delivery or riding services. So this could be example of market growth. They recognize the growth and then they start doing that. Another example is delivery service, let's say Shopee or Lazada. Lazada came first, and then they have Shopee, now have Tiki or some other kinds of online services for delivery products from one place to another place. All right. So that's also example of the market growth. If you think that there is a growth in that particular sectors, companies jump in their sector to take the benefits of that opportunity. Another important thing is the cost of doing business. If the cost of doing business is more than the benefits of doing business, then of course we will reject these kinds of opportunity. This is called the cost and benefit analysis. All right. Under cost and benefit analysis, we're gonna see that how much money we're gonna invest it in that particular companies, particular sector, particular company or market, and then we realize that then we also estimate the benefits or the cash inflows we're gonna get it from these kinds of investment, and then we're gonna compare it, cost with benefits. So of course, if your cost is lower than the benefits, we accept it. If the cost is higher than the benefit, we reject it. So this kind of cost and benefit analysis, you can call it cost and benefit analysis. This is cost and benefit analysis. So these kinds of cost and benefit analysis also really supportive when you are deciding to join that particular market or not. Again, when you are deciding the market to enter, is not just only about the growth and all this kind of thing, but again, the cultural environments also play very important things. So people preferences, like a food taste, food preferences. One country's that food is really popular. Let's example of Vietnam, pork is very common food, very famous food. People like it, and it's almost every day people consume pork. But if you take example of Malaysia or in Indonesia, where people do not, because of the religious purpose, they do not eat the pork. All right. So if you go more to the India, so majority of people they prefer to eat vegetarian over say non-vegetarian, not just simply about pork and beef, but even the chicken, fish, or seafoods. So people they prefer vegetarian food over non-vegetarian. Some of people they may eat non-vegetarian even though non-vegetarian people in India, they do not eat non-vegetarian on daily basis. So that's more about, again, that's more about the cultural things, the people taste and people preferences. Of course, the cost associated as well, because maybe the cost of buying non-vegetarian food is more expensive than the vegetarian foods. Depends upon countries to country again. So in Vietnam, pork is the maybe cheapest food source. People can have it. Okay, so besides this cost of doing business, we have a competitive advantage. Competitive advantage. All right. So what is the competition in that market? How many businesses already operating in a same field, same sector, same profession? So we have to analyze it. So do we have a less competition, high competition? And again, by looking at the competitions, then we can analyze. So again, this competition at some extent belongs to the type of the market. Right? 4 types, as I said, at some extent, it's part of this one. Next is a risk level. How risky is it to survive in a market? All right, if the risk is really high, it's not easy to survive in a market, so you may not able to make decision that you will enter in that market. So risk level again plays another important role. So let's take example of the McDonald's in Vietnam. If you compare McDonald's, which is international company, and again Jollibee, I think Jollibee from Philippines. So if you take example, if you compare the McDonald's, which also fast food chains, and Jollibee, also fast food chain. But you can see that Jollibee has a more stores in Vietnam compared to the McDonald's. Right? So again, your marketing strategy is also very important. You need to know. You need to understand the market before you just simply making your decision. There is no any McDonald's in Vietnam, so it doesn't mean that if when you enter with the McDonald's ideas, you will be more successful. No, of course not, because as I said, people taste preferences really matter. So in Vietnam, I would say that people prefer their local food, local street food, rather than the Western food or fast food. Western food. So that's kind of mindset people or health conscious people. I'm not saying that they're eating pork or some other non-vegetarian which is really healthy, but again, the people, of course, local food is healthier than that's fast food. So people may not choose over the fast food because of the taste. Not only about the health, the taste. This taste is quite weird for them, and they prefer their own taste. So may Jollibee, I'm not sure about the Jollibee, may they are providing such kinds of similar food to Vietnamese food. So by that reason, Jollibee has a more branches and surviving in Vietnam. So before we look at deciding which market we're gonna enter, so various factors affect deciding the market. That's maybe market size, market growth, cost and benefit, risk level, competitive advantage, the types of markets they have, right? So these kind of factors affect when you are deciding market to enter. Now the next thing is deciding how we're gonna enter the market, right? So in order to decide, in order to make a decision how we can enter, 3 factors affect. The first thing is export, right? How you gonna export the product. Second thing is joint ventures, right? And the third thing is supply resources. So let's start with the exporting. Exporting. Next is joint venture. And the third is a direct investment, or kind of resources, providing resources. Okay. Uh, so let's start with the exporting. Exporting means when company produce product at local level and sell product at international level. Right? When company produce product at lo at local level and sell at international level. This is called exporting, right? So that's important. How you gonna do it? So um, uh, how you gonna do it? Exporting. So you're gonna produce it. So that's simply export. Export means you make product at local level and you sell it at international level, right? Now, so export could be a direct export and indirect export. Direct export means you're directly exporting in that countries. All right, so this is called the direct export. Another indirect export is with the help of the other countries, you are exporting product in that country. That's called the indirect export through the other channels, through the other way. So entering in that particular market. So that's called the direct or indirect. For example, let's say example of indirect export. For example, you want to sell machines to America, right? So you have some kinds of spare parts here, right? So you will export these spare parts to Singapore, right? And Singapore's, they're gonna assemble these spare parts, turns into a machine, and then you're gonna supply that machines to America, all right? So that could be example of the exporting. So again, so this is the one of the way to decide, help you to enter in a market. So export is a way to enter in a market. So you can choose export way, all right? Next is joint ventures. So joint venture means you're gonna join international firms, to conduct business. Let's take example of a university, our university, University of Technology and Education. In our university, you can see that there is a many international programs are running in our university. Some are engineering program, some are maybe business program. So what these international programs are, foreign universities, maybe from England, from US, from Australia, from New Zealand. So these universities, they collaborated with University of Technology and Education. So to conduct a business in Vietnam or in Ho Chi Minh City. So this is the example of the joint venture. So when foreign companies, they're gonna join the local firms to conduct a business. It's much more easier, right? Because let's take example of University of Technology and Education. So yeah, of course, again, it also depends upon the rules and regulation of that countries, but joint venture is the easiest way to enter in a markets. You just find the famous companies in that markets and you join with that famous company. So if you join famous companies, so you already establish the market, because that local company, they have a good reputation in the market. So you already established the market. You just simply have to just launch your product. So this is another effective way to enter in a market. So this is called a joint venture. Right? So various things could be involved in joint ventures. So not just simply introducing products, you could be involved in the licensing, you're providing a license, right? You could be involved in providing workforce, you could be involved in providing specific plans, resources, right? So, or maybe finally product and services. So these are the joint ventures. Right? So remember, joint ventures are different than the export. In export, you are directly supplying your product to that country. But in joint venture, you're gonna collaborate with that companies to enter. In export, if you export it, you have to find the market. You have to find the customer, right? You have to you have to build confidence. I mean, kind of reliabilities among the consumers, so consumers can buy your product. For joint venture, things are quite easier because everything is maintained, everything is already set up. You just simply have to enter and just supply the service. Again, but you have to find the right partners. You can call it partnership, you can call it collaboration, you can call it joint ventures, right? So that's one way to affect it, right? Okay. And the last thing is a direct investment. So direct investment is you are directly investing in that country. So direct investment is development, foreign-based company. So now, direct investment is different than joint venture and exporting. All right. Now, under joint ventures, you're gonna collaborate because to market is already set up. Direct investment means you're gonna do everything by yourself. You're gonna make product, find consumers, sell product. All right. So of course, this is also different than the exporting. In exporting, you do not make product in international market. You make product at local level and then you sell in foreign country. But in direct investment, you make product in foreign country and you sell also product in a foreign country. That's called the direct investment. So you're gonna set up the business. So you're gonna set up your manufacturing plants over there. All right. So you're gonna control various things: labor, logistic, cost, material, everything. You're gonna be in charge of it. So that's called the direct investment. So the best example for direct investment is, let's say, if you take example of education industry, RMIT. You know RMIT? It's international. It's from Royal Management Institute of Technology from Australia. So this RMIT University. So RMIT University in Vietnam is an example of direct investment, right? And joint ventures is a collaborative program. Like as our university have a collaborative program with many universities. I guess it's Texas, Griffith, some Korean, Taiwanese universities as well. All right. So this is the joint ventures and the direct investment. For exporting, it's quite difficult to give example in education industry, but of course for manufacturing or for tangibles like product and product mainly, yeah, that's maybe possible, right? So these are the things that affect that how we decide the company, right? Which market we should enter. So let's move on to the last things, which is product. Introducing the product. So product introductions at international level, you can say that. Product introduction at global place. So how can you introduce your product at international level? So you can introduce your product at international level by doing 3 different variations in your product. Right. First thing is straight product extension. State products extension means you marketing product in a foreign market without making changes in that product. You introduce same as it is, right? So this is called a straight product extension, like as probably the example of the some expensive cars or the cars, right? So without making any significant or major changes, you just marketing same as it is. So marketing product, of course, marketing product at international level, marketing product without making changes. Making changes. So you do not find any difference in a local market or international market of that product. All right. So I think the smartphones, whatever applications, features, iPhone they used in Americas, that may be different. They may not be different than the iPhone which is sold in international market. But that may not happen with the Japanese product. The Japanese product, they make the product for their local consumers, so they have a different technologies than the international level. Why? Because again, Japanese quite advanced in form of using technologies and applications, and of course application also affect over the resources, whatever resources they have, like as internet speeds or some other kinds of things. So that may not be possible for them to sell the same product in international market, right? But for some kinds of product, like as an iPhone or some kinds of car manufacturers, so they're gonna introduce the same product in an international market, but not all kinds of cars. So let's say example of the we call it self-driving cars. Tesla, they recently, Tesla, not only Tesla, Mercedes-Benz, they also introduced self-driving cars. So that's maybe possible in America, but in Vietnam, self-driving cars may not be possible. Again, technologies issues and some kinds of signals and other things may not be maybe affected. So that's the thing affected. Right. Okay. So this is called the straight product extension. Without making changes in a product, you're gonna marketing same as it is, right? Second thing is product adaptations. Product adaptation. Product adaptation means you adopt the foreign market, right? So you make changes in a product as per the foreign market. Product base is the same, features is the same. Maybe some function you have been changed in that product as per the market, right? So product adaptations, change to meet the local conditions. Local conditions. So you're gonna make changes in a product as per the local markets. Right? So as per the changes in a market. So let's take example of the McDonald's. If you no, not McDonald's. Take example of the KFC. I think the example I gave you before. If you try the KFC food in Vietnam, right? And if you try KFC food in India, so even though same product, whatever product you order, chicken nuggets or whatever, right? So but if you buy that KFC product in India, you will find that the taste and the flavor is a little bit different. It's a little bit spicy, so they're gonna add more spices or some kinds of different flavor, which is quite similar to the taste of their Indian food or the local food. However, in Vietnam, they don't make it too spicy because people, they may not like it. So this is called the product adaptation. You make changes in a product as per the local demands, local needs. So you're not gonna standardize the same product, even though KFC is international companies. They're not gonna standardize the product so as per the taste of the people. So they make changes in their product. So that's maybe happen with the other kinds of product. So they use it. Yeah, so this is called a product adaptation. Another example of product adaptations could be, I think the food could be the best example for the product adaptations. All right. Yes. Another example for product adaptation is like as the shoes, we buy the shoes. In Vietnam, it's very hard to find a shoe size which is maybe 8 or maybe 9. I don't know, 8 or 9 means maybe 45 or something like that. That's kind of shy. No, not 45. Yes, 42, 43, that's kind of shoe size in Vietnam is not easy to find it. However, that kind of shoe is quite common in the Western countries because, of course, they're genetically, they are different than the Asian countries. So they may not gonna produce the same kinds of, so the change as per the market. Same with the international brands for the t-shirts and jeans, the size are Vietnam, if you look at the size in Western countries is different. As I said, genetic reason also affected. So this is called the product adaptation. As per the market, they change the product, right? And the third is a product invention. Product inventions. Product invention, creating something new for that market. Creating something new for them. New for specific market or industry. Market or industry. Of course, industry and market in international level. Right? I think the best examples could be the software, could be applications. Application they only used in Vietnam. For example, application for Shopee, right? Application for tickets. So these kinds of application may not be really used in other countries, like a Zalo. It's not really used in markets because that's everything is in Vietnamese. Another examples could be some kinds of software, some kinds of applications could be used in banks or could be used in a supermarkets. All right. So these kinds of products specifically used for the specific countries, all right, that may not be applicable in other country. Like I think the product invention example I already gave you the example I gave you before about Japan. Right? So like Japan, they have vending machines. So vending machines for, even they have vending machines for ice creams. That's very strange, right? Vending machine for toys, vending machine for ice creams, and vending machines for various things. I think vending machine for t-shirts, I guess, the small t-shirts or shorts, I guess. So these kinds of product inventions may be used or maybe made for only for specific countries. They may not be applied or used in another country, right? Various reasons. Reasons could be a language, like as electronic gadgets, they used in Japan, that may not be applicable, may be possible in Vietnam, but we can't use it because the reason is the language. Language is the main problem, so people can't use it, right? So these are the thing that we supposed to know for the product. And I think same example is yes, I think that's the best example. Could be software and applications they have been used because different country, they have a different operating system, maybe supermarkets or maybe in the banks. So whatever software has been developed for the banks in Vietnam may not be similar for some other countries, right? So these are the thing for the product. Right? So product is finished. So topic topic 5 is finished. So anybody has any question? Any question? Yes, we're going to discuss midterm exam now. If you don't have any question, just ask me any question if you have regarding this topic. If no question, then we move on to midterm exam. I may not give you a break because just midterm exam hardly 10 or 15 minutes, and maybe by 12 we will finish this class, because 12:30 we have another class. Maybe some of you will join that class. So any questions, topic 5, or we talk about midterm? Say something, any question about topic 5, or we discuss about midterm exam? Okay. So you are from Tuesday class, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. So your midterm exam will be Tuesday from 3:30, right? You start 3:30, right? Or 12:30?
Yes.
3:30.
It's 3:30.
Okay. So 3:30. So Tuesday next week. So next week is 2nd of December. 2nd of December. It's Tuesday. And timing will be, we start 3:30 p.m. So don't be late. All right. Next is topic 1, 2, 5, right? So whatever we have studied until today, that will be part of your topic. You just have to read whatever I'm writing. You don't have to look at the lecture slides and all this kind of things. Just simply look at my this handwritten notes. I think that's enough for you. Next is a type of question. You're gonna have a multiple choice questions, all right? And you're gonna see around 40 questions, all right? 40 multiple choice questions. Time allowed, I'm giving you 60 minutes. All right, only 40 questions, 60 minutes, right? 40 or 45, yes, 40 questions. Okay, and it's a closed book exam. You are not allowed to use any kinds of written material during your exams. No mobile phones, no phones. All right, and yes, that's all for midterm. So any question for your midterm exam? Right, marketing. It's marketing. Writing task? No, I said only multiple choice question, only 40 questions. All right, you don't have any other long answer question or any case studies. No, nothing. For midterm, only 40 multiple choice question. And your exam's gonna be 100 marks. Exam's gonna be 40 questions, 100 marks. So each question 2.5 mark. And your midterm exam weightage is 30%. This one, you know that. I already told you in the beginning of the lecture. Yes, so that's all about midterm exam. So any question? Can we move the next week later to take exam? No, cannot. It's fixed, right? 2nd December is fixed. You can come or not come, it's up to you, but it's fixed, right? Any question? Any other question? Tuesday is 1st December or 2nd December? Let me check. Oh, 2nd is Wednesday. Oh, sorry, 1st December. Yes, thank you. 1st December. First December. Not second. Okay, so any other question? No questions, so can we stop now? So please don't be absent for next week, all right? Because we don't have any other time to arrange for your midterm exam, all right? Don't be absent. So be on time, which is 3:30. Any question, please say something or we stop. If no question. Okay, all right, so we stop now. So I'll see you soon. So good luck for your marketing exam. All right, so exam date is fixed. Thank you, see you.